Hey guys, so as you can see, I'm by myself. My partner in crime isn't here today. He's at work and I'm at home, and I just wanted to talk about something I've been seeing a lot lately of, and I've been talking about it. I'm like, you know what? I just need to make a video, get it all out. So I want to talk about Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. And I'm going to go way back before we even talk about the movie. I just want to go back, well before this movie came out, trailers or whatever. So when DC first announced that they were doing all these movies, I got really, really excited. I really enjoy, the animated DC movies and DC shows and their live action shows. Like, I really enjoy those. And, DC has had this stain kind of not really making great live action movies. So I was really excited, to see what they were going to do. I felt like this is a new era, and I feel like maybe they could do it differently this time than before. So as more things came out, what movies were coming out for certain characters, like, I was excited about that. Like, I like how they're gonna do, an Aquaman movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Cyborg movie, and a Flash movie. I was like, finally, give me a movie where the characters, I could, like, just see the characters and, find out who they are, and see them grow as a character, like where they start, that type of stuff. So as I started to hear more and more about Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, I started to get a little nervous because from what I was hearing, they were saying, oh, they're going to have this character in this movie, and this character is going to be in this as well, and this. And I'm like, well, how are they going to do all of this in one movie? How are they going to put a plot line about Batman versus Superman and then have all these other characters just come in? Like, I was just getting worried about it. And it just started to feel like they were rushing it. Like, because Marvel is doing so well with all their movies, I felt like they were rushing this just to get a movie out so they could start somewhere. And, I'm like, Marvel has done a great job with having characters have their standalone, movies or TV shows. And then they've had it where they come together. But the thing is, the characters are already established. So So, Batman and Superman, they are established characters. So it's not like nobody knows about them. I mean, they are, like, the top when it comes to DC characters for people. So that isn't a big concern. They've had so many of those movies, it's like, you pretty much know who they are. So then the trailers came out. The first trailer was great. Gave you a little bit, of something that was, was happening. So it was just like a new trailer. We're good. All right. The second trailer literally, like, lost me because I feel like they put in plot points in the trailer that I was just like, why should I go see this movie? Like, seriously, what is the point? I pretty much know what the movie is going to be about. The main plot lines, like, there's literally, so it really took my excitement from, like, 10 to, like, 4. Like, seriously, I was just like, I'll see it, when I feel like it. I'm not in a rush to see it or anything like that. So whatever. So, I wasn't in a rush to see it. So the other day, we went to see Zootopia, which is an awesome, awesome movie. Like, you really need to go see it. I don't care how old you are, you need to go see it. It's just a much needed movie. With everything that's happening in our world today, it's amazing. But so we decided, okay, we're gonna go see Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. And the reason why is because I kept seeing all these things about reviews from critics, and then people were saying those reviews are crap, this movie's really good. And it was like a lot of, like, a mixture of things I was hearing. So I was like, you know what, I want to see it for myself to see, what is really going on. So I can honestly say, like, watching it, God, I was really, really disappointed. And this is why. So a lot of the comments that I'm seeing are more directly focused, like, from fans basically, are more focused on well, if you read the comic books, like, you're gonna love this movie. If you didn't read the comic books, then you wouldn't understand, blah blah blah. Or this character isn't like this character in the comics, or blah blah blah. Like, I think people are missing the point of what the critics are talking about. So I'm going to take all of that out. I'm going to take the comic book part out of this, and I'm going to put in just the movie part of this. So what makes a good movie? So in a good movie, you have a couple things. You have a good plot, so that means good writing, good acting, good flow and layout. The story's just not all over the place. Good editing, that type of stuff. So that's what makes a good movie. When all those things are in line with each other, you'll get a great, great movie. This movie lacked a lot of those. Like, literally. Like, the flow of the movie, like, there was so... Well, let's put that on the shelf. So we're going to talk about the plot. So the plot lines in this movie were all over the place. Because they took so many different story arcs from these comic books, from DC comic books, they put it in this one movie. And it just felt so overwhelming. I was just like, okay, we have this plot line, this plot line, this plot line. Like, and they try to put it all in this one movie. And it just felt so, like, jumbled. And it just felt rushed. And, like, it was just so many plot holes. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, they literally could have split this movie. So part of the first movie could have been Batman versus Superman, and then the second movie could have been Dawn of Justice. Instead of putting Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice in one, they could have literally split it up. And then from what I'm hearing, I guess the digital copy Blu-ray version is going to be even longer and possibly rated R. And I'm like, oh my god, like, this movie was long enough. Why are you trying to make it longer? So that was the one thing I was actually worried about. Like, it just felt rushed, and that's exactly how it felt. So the plot line, they had so many plot lines. And then the other thing was just the flow of it. Like, it was flowing, and then they would put something in it that did, like, literally took it out of its flow, and I was just like, I'm confused now. And then they try to put you back on and they would just literally put these little things that, and I'm like, oh my god, like, the flow of it was so horrible. I was just like, why? Like, that scene wasn't even necessary. It was just like they put it in there just to try to link it up or whatever. It was just, it wasn't good flow. Character-wise, like, I have, I have some things about that too. I didn't like Lex Luthor. Like, when I've grown up I've grown up with Lex Luthor from the cartoons, from TV shows, the comics. And my whole thing about Lex Luthor was he was very, egotistic. But he was very strong-willed. He had this mannerism, like, he was just like, you're going to pay attention to me when I come in the room. Like, he was very, like, statuesque and very, very just intimidating. But he was just genius, manipulative, and everything. Like, he just had this way about him, like, this vibe about him. And literally, the moment that Jesse, what's his name, Eisenberg, whatever his name is, the moment he opened his mouth, I was just like, I don't like this Lex Luthor. He was just too, like, weirdly crazy, jokey, insane. And literally, I was just like, I don't like him. Like, I feel like they try to make him into Joker, but Lex, he was just too, like, he was just too out there for me, like, too much. And I was just like, I don't like it. Like, every time he talked, I'm like, could we just move on, please? I don't want to hear what you have to say. Like, you're so annoying. So that was the one I didn't like, the part of character I didn't like. There was certain aspects about Batman that I liked and certain aspects that I didn't. I just watched, what was it, Justice League War on Netflix. It's an animated movie. And some of the characteristics that Batman had in this movie, he had from his father, who was Batman in that movie. So in that movie, Bruce Wayne is the one that gets killed, not his parents, and his father becomes Batman. And his father really is, like, ruthless and doesn't care. He uses guns, he brands people. Like, that's I guess they took that personality and they put it in this Bruce Wayne, and I really didn't. It like, kind of threw me off. Superman, I just felt like he was just too, like, whiny. he was just like, I'm Superman, and people hate me, but people love me. Like, he was just so focused on what everybody thought about him. And I'm like, dude, just go be Superman. Go save people. Like, why are you so, like, down? And, oh my God, it was just like, this is not Superman. I know, Superman is very strong in his beliefs, and he's going to do whatever, regardless of what people say. Like, it was just, and I feel like he wasn't, like, he didn't think things through. He just did things and didn't really, really think of the consequences. So that's another thing I didn't like either, because Superman that I know, he really thinks about what he does before he does it, and, you know, I just feel like that wasn't the case with this one. So that was another thing I didn't care for. Wonder Woman, honestly, to me, saved this movie for me. Like, the moment she, like, came on in the scene, like, you know, just a normal person, you know, Diana Prince, I mean, she was fine. Like, I was like, yes, I like her. And then the fight scene was amazing. Like, she just killed it. And literally, like, that is what saved the movie for me, was Wonder Woman. Like, and it's not just like, oh, female thing. No, she literally saved the movie for me, because, like, honestly, I was kind of getting bored with the movie. I was literally getting bored, and I was like, oh, God, what is this going to end? So that's what I want. I think what people are missing the point of why people are saying they don't like this movie. To me, it's not about the material, you know, the comic material. It's about how they put this movie together. So some other things I didn't like, and this is going to be spoiler. I will put spoiler on this video so you know that it's going to be spoiler. But I didn't like how the fight between Batman and Superman ended. Like, it was so weak. It was weak. Like, literally, you have this guy who literally hates Superman, wants to kill him. Is finding every resource he could possibly find to kill this man, because he just has this anger. Like, I think it was like almost 2 years. You have all this anger towards this man who killed all of these people that worked for you. You were so pissed. And then in a matter of a mere, like, seconds, your whole, like, thought process just changed, and you're like, wait, what? Oh, I like you. We're friends now. That was the most weak transition ever. And I've been seeing people put, like, you know, ratings of, I give this 10 out of 10. I'm like, how? Like, are you watching the movie? Like, are you only taking it as a fan who's happy because this movie's out? Or are you watching it as a movie? Just a movie, and taking everything else away from it? Because just a movie, it wasn't great. It just wasn't. And, like, literally, I found a meme that literally, that moment, like, puts that moment into a sum. So this is exactly what here's this meme right here. Like, literally, oh, your mom is Martha? Oh my God, my mom is Martha. I like you. Let's be friends. Oh my God, yes, we are friends. Even though I tried to kill you even though for the last 2 years I have worked to kill you, we are friends. Like, it just was so weak. It was so weak, and I was just like, oh my God, I was so mad. Like, I don't really know, like, what happened in the comic where, you know, that turning point where Batman decides he didn't want to kill Superman. But it couldn't have been that. That was just so weak and just so tired and so lazy. Like, really? That's it? Like, seriously? So that was like, oh. And then the fact he's like, you know, he dies. Superman dies, and Batman's like, Bruce is like, oh, I failed him in life, but I'm not going to fail him in death. I'm like, dude, but you try to kill him. What do you mean you failed him in life? What are you talking about? And then when he goes save his mom, Batman goes to his mom, oh, I'm your son's friend. No, you're not. You're not friends. You're not. So I was just like, that was so weak. Oh my God. And then the other thing I didn't like, where Batman's like in his, like, Bruce is in the cave and he falls asleep, and all of a sudden you see this vision of, I guess, what I guess was going to be the Justice League movie. And it was just, it felt so out of place, and it was just like, why is this even here? Like, seriously, why did they just, like, I'm like, was it a dream? Was it a vision? Like, what the hell? Like, it just confused the crap out of me, because it was just thrown in there, like a pebble thrown in the water, and it was just like, I don't know what this is. I don't get this. Like, it was just, I didn't like that part either. So that was another thing I didn't like either. But it was just, the flow of the movie wasn't great. the writing wasn't great. The acting wasn't too bad. Like, there was certain characters I didn't care for, and other, but I think Ben Affleck did a really good job. Surprisingly, I felt like he really played a good Batman Bruce Wayne. Like, I really thought he did a really good job. And Gal Gadot, I think that's how you say her name. Like, I thought, I don't know, were all these critics or all the people who were complaining about this lady, but literally she was amazing. And I've been there on the end of that. Like, when Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Tony Stark, like, I was just like, I couldn't see it, like, at all. But then, like, to me, that is who he is Tony Stark. Like, I don't care if they do a reboot, he is forever Tony Stark. So I feel like sometimes you just have to watch the movie because you just never know how it's going to turn out when it comes to people who are playing these characters. But I was just kind of disappointed, and I honestly felt like if they would have split this movie into two movies, it would have been so much better. It would have made so much sense. You would have been able to kind of set up the Justice League, set it up. It would have been so good, and then they could have really, really focused on Batman versus Superman and made a whole movie about that and how they transitioned, and then how the Justice League started. Like, they could have just did it in two movies, and it would have made way more sense than just trying to put it all in one. So the rating I gave, it was like a 5.75, maybe a 6 out of 10. Like, it was okay. It wasn't all that bad. There were things that were good about it. I did really like the Batman scenes where he was like just kicking everybody's like ass. I enjoyed that part. The fight with him and Superman, it was alright. It wasn't like too like mind-blowingly hyped up as it was. It was alright. But for me, the Batman scenes to me were the best. And Batman with Wonder Woman, or just Wonder Woman in general, like, those were to me the best scenes. Let's see, anything else? Oh, and another thing I was kind of like, what? Was when they basically made Doomsday out of Zod. Like, I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, you literally took this body and you made him into Doomsday. Like, I thought Doomsday was amazing. Like, the fight was awesome. And oh my god, I especially enjoyed, like, how Wonder Woman's fighting him and then he, like, knocks her on the ground. And she, like, has this smile on her face, like, ooh, this is a good fight. Like, ooh, I'm loving this fight, because, that's who she is. She gets so excited when she's in battle. So that part was awesome, and I love how she had the lasso or whatever around him. So that was really cool. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I was kind of like, I'm like, okay, I can understand, but it was just like, whatever. It was just one of those moments. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna roll with it, whatever it is. But I just want people, when you're really trying to, like, when you really tell people why you like it, to think about it more. Just don't say you like the movie because it's just, oh, everything I read in the comics was in this movie and that was so awesome. Like, that's awesome. Yes, I've seen how taking like stories from comics into movie, I've seen it done really well. Like, the flow, the character setup, the plot. I've seen it where everything is in sync and it's amazing. I've seen that. And I've seen it where they take stuff from the comics, they put it in, jumble it all together, and they try to make a movie out of it. And this was a prime example of that. They tried to make a movie, and it just wasn't done well. Like, it just wasn't. And that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as, oh, well, this was in comic, and that wasn't a comic. No, I look at it as, how did they take this and actually make a good movie? Did they make a good movie out of it? And it just, to me, it just wasn't a good movie when it came to being an actual just movie, like setting aside everything else and just movie-wise, it just wasn't great. So a little I'm disappointed, and we'll see what happens with the movies in the future, and I hope this is a learning experience from DC, and I hope they learn, that just because it's a comic book movie doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it. Like, you actually have to make it good. So so yeah, so until the next video, guys, we'll see you. Thanks for watching another episode of Mr. vs. Miss. Alright, see you guys.